Hello, everyone. This is my show again. I don't know how it keeps coming back. Everyone keeps saying yes. And today we have superstar Jennifer Caldwell.
Hi!
You are probably most well known for the awesome show Six.
Yes.
How's that part come about?
Um, I mean, it's as any job does, is you audition, and then I think Six is it's turned into such a phenomenon that I think that's now what people know me for, which is amazing. I mean, I've been around since the dawn of time, it seems. I feel very old. But yeah, I auditioned in, I'm going to say July, let's say July last year. And it was the best audition process I've ever done. And I loved it because we had to do, so normally, if you know about auditioning and blah, 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 that you have to go into a room in front of a panel and you sing what they give you, and that's it. It's you and them, and then you'll maybe do a dance call. But with Six, they did like workshop days, where everyone had to sing in front of each other, which sounds like, to me, when I read that, I was like, oh my god, this is going to be the worst day of my life. It's going to be horrible. I'm going to hate it. It was amazing. Everyone kind of got up and we all had the same songs. We all sang in front of each other, but it was just 2 days of a group of women just supporting each other, and it was amazing. So yeah, anyway, I went off on a tangent already. The interview's been happening for about 2 minutes. Sorry.
Well, it was 2 minutes when you started talking, and it was like 10. No, I was kidding.
This is going to happen a lot.
So, what's amazing about you is you've played every queen in Six.
I know.
Like, that is not very often that happens, is it?
I
That
think,
someone gets played
I'm
all
trying to
the
think who's done it. There's me, Colette, Vicky, Courtney, and Grace, I think, are the ones that have done it. Yeah.
Is that hard to know that you literally have to know the whole musical?
Yes. But I think the more you do it, you can't, for me anyway, I can't speak on behalf of everyone, but for me, you pick it up so easily because you're all on stage together all the time. So there's no points where you're like, oh, well, I couldn't watch that bit because I was doing a quick change, or oh, I couldn't hear that bit because I was off stage in my dressing room, because you're there all the time. So whenever you're on stage, you pick up what everyone else is saying, and you just get to know the script like the back of your hand, I think. So I think with Six especially, it's a lot easier than other shows, I'd say. Yeah.
Amazing. So, I've lost my train of thought. No, I haven't. Found it again.
Yes.
Roller coaster of an interview.
Whew.
Which of the queens is your favourite to play?
It changes all the time, and it depends on where I am, like, mentally. So I went through a period of being like, I love being Berlin, I don't really like being Howard, or I love being Howard, I don't really like being Berlin, I don't like being this, I love being this. I think before Corona struck, I had a little week as Howard, and I love being Howard. I love it. A lot of people don't really enjoy it too much because her song is the longest song in the world, but I love it because I think you actually get an opportunity to have that 7-minute song, and you have that opportunity to go from, young, bubbly, effervescent Catherine into what happens to her and how she breaks down and how she turns out, which is super tragic. And then a lot of her lines are also quite well, it depends how you play them. How I play them, they're quite sarcastic and just a little bit like sassy, and I like that. But I mean, the thing is, I'm going off on a tangent here now, but when, as an alternate on Six, we are encouraged, and I say this all the time, you are encouraged to bring different parts of yourself to every queen. So if you're playing a queen, the girls, so like Jodie and the Laurens and Maddie and Athena and Shaka, they bring themselves into their queen. Whereas the alternates, you draw on different parts of your personality for each queen. So say like Howard has my like slightly sarcastic, sassy side. Like Berlin is like my goofy side. You know, goofy and a bit silly. And like Par is my more sensible side. And yeah, it's great.
So do you have a favourite line in the show?
My favourite line in the show is Seymour's line when she goes, I mean, have you seen the show?
No, not yet.
Stop. Okay, so there's a part where Catherine Parr says, I know, but like, should we really be doing this? Like, should we really be comparing this? And Jane Seymour stops and there's a big pause and everyone kind of looks around and she just goes, I mean, we've literally been doing that for the last hour, so... And it's very funny. It's very funny. That's my favourite line, I think.
Good choice.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to see the show once this whole lockdown is lifted.
You really do. It's good. It's an hour and 15 minutes, and it's an hour and 15 minutes of just energy and joy, and I love it. It's hard graft.
Are you going back to 6 after the lockdown?
TBC.
Yeah.
TBC.
Well, if you are, I'll make sure I come and see you in it.
Do! If I'm there, come and see it. I probably won't be on, because no one would go off after this, would they? But, you know, never know.
So, moving on from 6, which is sad,
Yes.
it's a great show, great soundtrack.
I know.
Let's talk about American Idiot.
Yeah.
How'd that come about, that part in the show?
How does what part? The song?
No, I mean, how did it come up? How did you
sorry.
come about you getting part in the
I'm with
show?
you. So the job that I'd done before, which we'll talk about after this, I worked with Raki, who is the director and choreographer of American Idiot. And we got along really well and she seemed to like me, and I went and auditioned and she was like, yes, come and be a swing and come and be my resident director. And I was like, oh my God. So that was my second resident director job. And it was great. I loved it. It was hard. So that was my, like, I've always covered, I've always understudied, but I've normally had my own track, but this was my first like solely swing job. And I had to know everything. I had to know the show inside out. So I had to know like all the girls' tracks, all the boys' tracks, everyone's intentions, everyone, like every little tiny bit of script and what they were trying to say and what they meant at this particular moment. And yeah, it was really difficult, but it was amazing. And I think it was the most physically demanding show I've ever done.
So that must have been good though, because it must have prepared you for 6 then, if you had
to
go into the... So that must have been nice, not having as big a shock then when you go in 6. You'd be like, I've already done this, done a whole show.
I already knew like 15 tracks. 6 is nothing. It's fine. Yeah, but I mean, we had a lot of injury, quite a bit of illness. I remember one week, me and the dance captain, Laura Benson, she's amazing, and we had a really good relationship, like a working relationship, as well as a personal friendship. She's amazing. But we would have to cut the show constantly, so there would be a lot of people off, and we'd just be like, okay, so how do we make this work? How do we make the audience not notice that we have hardly anyone in the building. But I remember there was one week, I think we're in Malvern. If you've ever been to Malvern, it's in, where is it, Worcestershire? And it's beautiful. But we had a particularly bad week, and I remember we had a different cut show. Every single show was different. So one person would come back, another person would go off, or we'd lose a little bit of stage, or we'd have to change things around. It was a learning experience, but I wouldn't change it. I loved it a bit. I think it was brilliant.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So you said you worked with, who was it?
It was Raki Plews.
So
yeah.
You worked on Nights of the Rose, is that correct?
Yes, I did.
Okay, cool. How was that? How'd that?
This is my favourite story, and I like telling it, but I do get quite shy because I don't like to put myself out there or like be a bit forward about stuff. But this is pretty cool, and bear with me. So I don't know if you'd have seen this, but I didn't originally get the job. So I auditioned for the job, and I got to finals, and it was great. And I was like, oh, I really, really want this job. It seems like it would be really fun. And I was working at the Arts anyway, and it was at the Arts Theatre. And I didn't get it, and I was like, fine, fair enough, great. Went in to kind of like pop my head in during like the dress rehearsal, the opening night or whatever, because I was working on the box office. And I saw the girl who got the part that I was up for, and I literally was like, she is incredible. I was like, fair enough, great, she's amazing. It's called Katie Birtle, and she's a very good friend of mine now, and I've never heard a voice like it in my life, and she's beautiful inside and out. She's just wonderful. Anyway, there was one, I was working on box office, and I was like, selling the tickets for the show, whatever. And there was one day where Katie was off. She was really poorly, so they had one understudy who had an ensemble track, Kelly. Excuse me. And then someone else went off. Blue went off, and they didn't have anyone to cover her. And the producer, who was also my boss at the Arts Theatre, came up to me on the box office and was like, Jen, can I talk to you? And I was like, yeah, sure, great. And he said, look, obviously Katie's already off. Blue's just gone off. Could you do the show? And I was like, sorry? Could you do the show? I said, no, Brian, I couldn't. I haven't seen the show. So I'd seen like half of it, maybe, not even half. And I said, I don't think I could. He went, right, let's get Raki on the phone. So called Raki, and Raki said, look, we really need you. It's like a gala performance, like a charity performance, and we're totally sold out, and you know, we don't want to cancel really. And they said, right, so if we get Blue's part and we condense it to just the important parts, so it's like 3 scenes and 3 numbers, I think, that she would be doing, could you do it? And I was like, yeah, all right. So Raki came in about an hour later. I had some lunch, and then we rehearsed for about 2 hours, and then I went on that night, which was great. Yeah,
great, yeah, terrifying.
The most terrifying, but yeah, it was really fun. And then they hired me as a swing from then, and I went on quite a few times. But yeah, I think they realized they needed more covers. But it was wonderful, and I got to work with someone that I'd done Mamma Mia with like years ago, and the cast was insane. Like, the cast was so good. So I got to work with people like I mean, I can't even name them all, like Ollie Saville and Adam Pearce and like Blue Woodward and Rebecca Lowings, and I can't even name all of them. They're all wonderful, and it was wonderful. I had a good time, a good laugh. Yeah.
Amazing. That's an amazing story.
Yeah, it got on the BBC and everything. It was great.
Did it?
It did, yeah.
How do you feel seeing yourself on the BBC?
It was terrifying. That was the first kind of little taste of things, and I was like, I felt a bit weird about it, really. And then 6 happened, and you know, and I've got so much love from.
And now you're a superstar.
No, I've just got a lot of love from the Queendom, and they're wonderful. I really, really.
You're a superstar.
Stop it. So yeah, there was that. That was Knights of the Rose for you.
It's amazing. So you were also telling me about workshop, the rhythm method.
I was. Yeah.
That was. Do you want to tell everyone about that?
It was just a first kind of draft workshop, really. So we did one day at the Bush Theatre, and we did, I think, 4 days maybe at the Landor space. And it was good. It was good fun. It was only 3 weeks of work, really, but it was me, Fra Fee, which was great. A lady called Mel Marshall, who was in Only Fools and Horses, the musical now. Well, not now, but, you know. Emile Ruddock, who's in Hamilton, and a lady called Annie Wensack, who had just finished in Half a Sixpence, and it was again like Knights of the Rose. Like, the cast was wonderful, and we had such a great time together. And it was only 3 weeks, but yeah, it was new material, and it was, you know, trying things out and kind of giving them feedback, like giving the writers feedback on where we thought it could go, or where it was maybe lacking, or where it worked really well. And it was wonderful. And again, there was 5 of us, but we got on like an absolute house on fire. So that was also, it was awesome. Yeah.
Amazing.
Loved it. Yeah.
So before you did that, you were in $1 Million Quartet. I was, yes. So tell everyone about how you sort of got that part, how it sort of all came about.
Yeah. So I auditioned, and they were looking for a cover, and I'd just come off the back of 4 years of covering. So I'd already done 4 years of work. And I was hired as, there's one girl in the show. So do you know anything about the show?
No.
Okay, that's fine. Well, just before everything got shut down, it had just gone back up on another tour. So it had just restarted again. I think it was in its 2nd venue, and then they were like, but it was with a lot of the same people that I did it with, which was wonderful. And it's about Johnny Cash, Jerry Lee Lewis, Elvis Presley, and Carl Perkins. And it's based on this one evening, December 4th, 1956. And they were all, well, Elvis wasn't at that time, but beforehand, they were all represented by Sun Records. And it's about Sam Phillips, who was the owner and producer of Sun Records. And they all basically were there one evening, and they just had like a jam, like a little jam session. And you can hear it, like if you type it into Spotify or YouTube or anything, you can actually like hear the full recording. Somebody left the tape rolling, and it's just them kind of like messing around and jamming and playing. And the show is a kind of dramatized version of that. And Elvis had just left, and I don't want to spoil it, but it's very good. And there's one girl in it, and she's a fictional character based on a woman called Marilyn Evans, but she's called Diane in the show. And it's Elvis's girlfriend at the time. She was a dancer. Marilyn was a dancer, but they've billed Diane as this singer. So she comes in and sings a few ditties, which is very nice. But yeah, I mean, I covered her, and then it got to a point, I think maybe a month or 2 in, maybe 2 months in, where the company were like, oh, we don't have a resident director, and everyone's kind of just like doing what they want. Nobody's like reining them in. Oh God. And so then I got a call from the director, and he was like, Jen, I know you've never done it before, but I'll kind of guide you through it, and would you want to do it? And I was like, yeah. And our director is a man called Ian Talbot, OBE. He's amazing, and he's like this. I think he's in his 70s now, but he was just in Adrian Mole, the musical that was at the Ambassadors for a little bit, and he was artistic director of Regent's Park for like 20 years, and he was the most incredible person to learn from. Like, incredible. He was so kind but funny, and he had a way about him that he just managed to get the best out of everyone, and no matter how he just had a way of wording everything catered to each person to be able to get the best out of them. So I learned so much from him. He was absolutely insane. Yeah. And I felt really lucky, yeah, on that job. And I got to work with some really cool people. I got to work with good old Jason Donovan. I don't know, you're this is the thing, you're probably too young for all this, aren't you? Jason Donovan and Martin Kemp, which was lovely, of Spandau Ballet. No?
I do know that, yeah.
There you go. But they're really nice guys.
I feel bad that I only know Martin Kemp because of Ross Kemp.
His son. Oh, because of Ross Kemp. No, they're different.
No, not Ross Kemp. Not Ross. I forgot his name.
Kemp.
Roman Kemp.
His son.
Yeah, his son.
Yeah. Yeah.
Feel
Fair
bad
enough.
that's the reason why. But
hey, it's a different generation. You won't remember him as the bass player from Spandau Ballet. That's fine. Anyway. I'm just gonna pick that name up. I just dropped that. Anyway, moving on, because I'm talking too much.
Should we move on to
please
something that you've shared the stage with a few of my past interviewees?
Yeah.
So did you say it was Christina Modesto and who was it?
Kevin. Kevin.
No, I haven't interviewed yet, but I will interview.
Have you not? He is an absolute delight. Delightful.
So sharing the stage with them, that was on Shrek the Musical.
Yes.
Which I have not seen yet. I've heard a few of the songs.
Okay.
And I will go and see it because I want to go and see it.
Do.
And now that I've got all these people that have been Shrek the Musical, I kind of feel like I have to go and see it.
Absolutely.
But how was it being in that musical?
Amazing. It was hard, actually. For me, I found it difficult because I mean, my first job was amazing, and like when you look back, when you're in something, you kind of think you find like, oh God, this is hard work, or oh God, and then you go into something else and you're like, I had it easy on that job. Like Shrek was it's deceptively challenging for a lot of the ensemble, I think. Excuse me. But my track in the first, so we did a 2-year contract on tour, and it was my first tour, which was strange to me because it was completely alien. But we did, like, we sat a few weeks in each venue, but the first year of this tour, my track was so busy. It was so busy. Like, I would go from, I mean, if you don't know the show, I'm just going to list some stuff for you. I think I'd go from Queen Lillian into The Witch, into Duloc, into Puppeteer, into Rat Tap, into Blind Mouse, into the Fiona double, then into Witch, then back into the Fiona double, then back into Witch. I think that was my whole track for the first. But every quick change that we had to do, it wasn't just you keep your wig on, you just change your costume. It was a wig change, it was a costume change, and it was a makeup change. So it wasn't just like you have the same face of makeup. You'd have to like rip noses on and off. You'd have to like put hands on and eyelashes and completely different face of makeup. And yeah, it was hard. And the vocal tracks as well for me were quite difficult, because you're singing, if you've listened to any of the music, all the styles of each song are quite different, and they do like play on a lot of different musicals. Like there's references to like Les Mis in there, there's references to Wicked in there, there's references to like all sorts of little things, and you're singing like operatic 1 minute and cartoony the next minute and gospel-y the next minute. And yeah, I struggled a lot, but it taught me a lot as well. I think it taught me how to deal with that. It also taught me how to tour. It was my introduction to touring, which I've been on tour constantly now since it seems like the dawn of time. And it introduced me to loads, like we had dresses in every venue, and I still speak to some of my dresses today. You know, I made some wonderful friends, and I made some wonderful friends within the company that I like, Kevin and like Christina, and that I'm still friends with today. And yeah, I'm very, very grateful for that job, for giving me like lifelong friendships. Yeah.
What was your favorite place to tour?
Again, like I said before, it changes all the time. Now that I've toured with different things, and now that I've toured for like weeklies or like sat down in places, but I do always love Edinburgh. Always. It's just the best. I love it so much.
I love that everyone I've asked, I'm pretty sure like 90% of them have said Edinburgh. So
But it's because it's beautiful.
That everyone must love it so much that it's just...
Yeah, the theatres are lovely. I've done 2 of the theatres there. So I've done the Festival Theatre and the Playhouse Theatre. And the staff are always really, really nice. I mean, there's loads to do. There's loads to see. You've got like a city, but there's like historical parts of the city. It's beautiful. You've got countryside, you've got hills, and you've got the sea. You can see the sea as well. It's just, I love it. I love it so much. And everyone, all the people of Edinburgh are just lovely. Lovely. I love it. I'd live there in a heartbeat. Beautiful.
To start it all off, the first professional musical you were in was Mamma Mia.
Yes.
How does it feel thinking back to that show now?
I would go back to that show without question. If they said to me, Jen, come back and be ensemble 57 at the back, I'd be like, yeah, great. I had the best time. I had the absolute time of my life on that show. And I don't know if I appreciated it as much as I should have done when I was there, but I loved it. And everyone was everyone was so wonderful. And you know, I made some lifelong friends, like my friend Emma Crossley. I did 2 years with Emma, and my friend Steph and Jess, and all the backstage crew. A lot of them are still there, and the band, and it's just wonderful. And I'm like, give me 10 years, if that, because I'm aging rapidly now, 5 years, and I'll be like, give me a dynamo cover, I don't care, I'll go back. I love it. And I was super lucky because I did it well. I got to do I was there in 2012 to 2014. So when I started, it was at the Prince of Wales, which is now where Book of Mormon is. So I started in that theatre, and then we got to re-tech and reblock everything and move it to the Novello, which is where it is now. And then my second year was the 15th anniversary of the show. So I got to perform at the Olivier's, which was So cool. Yeah, I had the best time.
That must have been amazing in like your first professional show, being like,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah, we met Benny and Bjorn from ABBA, and they came over and they rehearsed with us, and I was literally just like, holy moly. It was amazing. It was amazing. Loved it.
It's really sad because we're coming to the end of our interview now, which is really sad because I've enjoyed speaking to you so much.
Thank you.
Anyone who is still watching from like my last interviews, hopefully there's people still watching.
Fingers crossed. There won't be any more after me.
We'll know that this is a part of the interview where I ask you some random questions.
Okay.
So,
okay.
the first random question I kind of warned you for, so you get let off easy for the first one, and that's if you could be in any show for one night only, no gender roles, no stereotypes, you could be Matilda or Evan Hansen or Alphaba, full costume, full lights, full sound, who would you be?
Oh my God, I'd totally be Evan. For sure. For sure. I'd be so good. I would cry all over that stage. Oh, I'd be adorable. I'd be adorable as Evan. I'm going to be Evan.
You really like Darren Hansen?
I love it. Have you seen it?
No.
I watched it twice in a week, right? I mean, for reasons I can't even remember, but I watched it twice in a week, and I don't think I've ever cried so much in a theatre. Actually, that's a lie. I watched The Jungle, which was amazing, and that was the most I've ever cried. But at a musical, I think a few points in the show, I did this. So
the poor people next to you.
Yeah, I mean, I met a man who'd never watched a musical before in his life, and he was there on his own, and he was from Mexico. And we sat together, and I was like, we're going to go through this together, Javier. And we had a lovely time. We did. And we've cried together. It was very nice.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I haven't seen it, but I do know it.
You know the music, right?
I've got the script, I've listened the whole time, I know every song. So don't get me wrong, I know it. I know the whole musical. I watched all the clips. Words fail.
Broke me into a million tiny pieces.
So did you see it in London?
I did.
Was it Sam Tutty or was it Marcus Harmon?
It was, well, the first time I saw Sam Tutty, and then the second time I saw David Breeds.
Amazing.
And he was, I mean, Sam Tutty was great, but David was stupid.
David, if you're watching, David, come on the show.
The talent on that boy is obscene. Absolutely obscene. Yeah. So Javier, he broke Javier. I'm telling you that. Poor Javier.
Yeah, I'm going to go see it at some point. Luckily, I've seen Ben Platt just do his own little concert. You know, not his little concert. You know what I mean? His own.
Oh, did you see that it was? He announced that he's putting his concert on. It's not going on Netflix, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going on Netflix in May.
I'm going to lose my mind. I'm obsessed with him. I reposted a video of his the other day of him singing the Beatles. There's something nothing you'll understand. And I was just like,
have you seen that he's doing a song each week, every Saturday?
I love him. No, I haven't, but I'm going to look.
So if you look on his Instagram, then every Saturday he's done covers like Adele, Ariana Grande.
I'm just obsessed with him. Have you seen The Politician as well?
Oh, seen it all.
I've seen it all, sweetheart. He's so good.
He's amazing.
So good. Yeah.
And if you're watching, come on the show.
Ben, if you're watching, I was going to say marry me, but that's futile. But never mind.
Also, I think he likes guys, so it's
yeah. I don't think I'm his type. But you know, we could be like friends and stuff.
Maybe I'm his type.
Maybe, hun. Maybe.
My girlfriend
Good
would not
for
you.
God damn. God damn it.
So you picked Evan. Time to get on to the scary questions.
Oh God, no, I don't know any. I don't know what's coming, so I feel a bit uneasy, if I'm honest.
If you had to pick,
yes,
between only listening to one original cast recording for the rest of your life, or listening to any cast recording but only once? What would you pick?
So I could never listen to anything ever again. So once I've listened to like one song, that's it. Bye. Poof, poof.
No, I'd say you can listen to each song from the soundtrack. So you can listen once you listen to that one song. So you listen to each song, but like the whole soundtrack isn't gone once you listen to one song. You can listen to the whole soundtrack from that, but you'd never be able to listen to the songs again. Yeah, that's right.
Oh God. I think I would. Oh, I don't know because I like to like re-listen to things and like relive it, and you find different things in it. But also, then I'd get bored and I'd want to move on, but I couldn't. Oh God, I'd say I'm so stressed. You need to pre-warn me about these things. I'm stressed.
So then it's not funny for the audience. We'll keep on coming back.
You're just watching me have a breakdown.
We'll keep on coming back. We're going to make a big edit of all the people having breakdowns on asking the questions.
There are bigger things going on in life, and I'm getting really stressed about this.
Comment below if you want me to. Everyone comment below if you want me to get a big group together of all the celebrities and just confuse them with questions like this.
I would say listen to one and then like keep like I would never listen to it again. Yeah, but then I would find other recordings of it.
Yeah, you can do that.
That's like a loophole. So like, I'd be like, oh, I'll listen to the Broadway version. Oh, but I really like that song. Okay, let's listen to the London version, or let's listen to the US touring version. That's what I'm going for. Okay, I found a loophole, and for that, I'm gonna have a Malteser button or two.
Not a sponsor. Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor. Just filling me up, if I'm honest.
I always wanted to say that. Not a sponsor.
I'm sorry, there are other varieties of chocolate available.
Maltesers, if you want to sponsor me, go ahead. Do it some money.
Please.
This is another hard question.
Okay.
They are making Jennifer Caldwell the musical. Who would play you? Not you.
Who would play me?
You can't play yourself. So, yes, pick someone else to play you.
Fuming. Who would play me? Is it me now, or is it me in the future?
I don't know what you're doing with it. Okay,
in the future.
Maybe I can make this even harder for you, and I can like now and in the future.
Okay. The musical. The musical. I would want to play me now. Someone very beautiful, obviously. Oh God, I don't like the stress of this, if I'm honest. I would want
I think I've got my answer if you'll play you, but I'm gonna wait for you to give your answer first.
me now. I'd love it if Casey Levy could play me now. That'd be well nice. But is this a musical?
Yep.
Okay. And for me, like later on in life, and I mean, by the time I'm older, she'll be dead. But I'm going for Julie Walters.
Good choice.
That is my idol. Aside from my mum, who's the best woman I know, hands down, Julie Walters is my absolute idol. I love her so much. So
Julie Walters, if you're watching, on the show.
Julie Walters, if you're watching, can you please be my friend? I just want to meet her. Actually, if she's one person that if I met, I wouldn't know what to say and I'd probably just cry. So.
Oh, same to you, Casey Levy, if you're watching on the show as well.
Oh my God! Again, love you. Thank you. Who were you gonna say?
Kristen Bell.
Oh, I love Kristen Bell. Have you seen The Good Place?
I love The Good Place.
Oh my God!
Watch the ending. Don't spoil it for anyone. But if you've seen the
No,
ending,
I've never cried so much when her and Chidi were sat on the thing and they were, oh, holy moly. I watched that on a train up to Edinburgh, actually.
what a
I watched
mistake!
it on a
What a
train.
mistake!
And also, it was the very, like, when the very, very last line of the last episode, I was just like, Michael, you finally got to say it. It was great. Anyway.
Was your dear Evan Hansen friend there?
Huh?
Was your dear Evan Hansen friend there? It feels like he should have been there for another emotional journey with you.
I feel like I should have taken Javier with me. Javier, come with me. I've got some more crying to do. I need a bit of company. Come on. He was lovely. Oh.
Now you got to think someone to play Javier because it's your musical, so he's always a part of it.
Javier needs to feature in the musical, I think, for sure. He's integral. He's an integral part of my life, apparently, because I've spoken about him more than I've spoken about my own mum. Hi, Javier, if you're watching.
Come on the show.
On the show. I mean, you could talk about, I don't know, I can't remember. I can't remember anything about him apart from the fact that he was from Mexico and his name was Javier and we cried together and it was beautiful. Cried together at David Breed's as Evan Hansen.
David, if you're watching, come on the show.
Put me in the bin. I need to stop. Anyway. Okay.
You ready for the next question?
No!
The next question is... Wait,
okay.
I'm just remembering what questions I already asked you now. I've confused myself. Okay. If you could be any Disney princess, which one would you be and why?
I would be Rapunzel.
Good choice. And why?
Yeah. Because she is vulnerable yet sassy. And there's something that's, as with all Disney princesses, they are like inherently good. And she is, yes, driven by selfish reasons, as a lot of people are, but she's just got more balls than some, I think. And it's not, for her, it's not all about finding love. It's about finding who she is. And I think that's more admirable than just being like, oh, I'm waiting for my prince. Oh. Rapunzel. Rapunzel is my answer. Straight away. See, that was an easy one.
Ready for the final and what might be the hardest question? People have struggled with this one.
Oh, for the love of God. Yes, go on.
Would you rather never be able to sing again or become a badly singing sheep?
Oh.
You have to do stuff that a sheep would do. They have to eat grass, live in a field. No, like you'd have knowledge that you once were a human and know what real food tastes like, but you'd have to eat grass.
Oh, that's awful, isn't it?
Or you can never sing again.
I would never sing again. And I'll tell you for why. Because I wouldn't like to be in a position where I'd be like, oh, remember when I was a singer? Remember when I used to be able to be a person and eat food and you know, see my friends and not have to like live in a field and bar and, you know, be scared of people, because sheep are scared of people. I'll tell you that for free, because I live in the countryside and you walk past them and they're like, whoa. So I don't want that. I wouldn't want that in my life. But also then my career could go down a different way. I could maybe break into the acting market. I could go to the national, go to the Nash, go to the RSC, the Nash, be on the telly, be a movie star.
Help, I think that your impression of a scared sheep was amazing. So
thank you.
Definitely.
Yeah, I've been practicing. Yeah, but yes,
so at least if you were a sheep that was badly singing and you were sad, you could sing the 12-bar blues.
Very nice, very nice.
My bad joke. Bad joke of the day, everyone. You can switch off now if you want.
Bad joke of the day. Nice.
You have to record that so you can actually do the jingle, and I'll just.
Bad joke of the day.
So spacebar, and if you put spacebar and just have you singing in the background.
I would love to be a jingle.
I had a while ago. I had a radio show for a little bit of time.
Nice.
And the day that I found the jingle button, every single time I finished the sentence, I was like, play the jingle, play the jingle.
Jingle.
I don't have a radio show anymore.
Like, I'm not surprised. You got jingle happy, didn't you?
I did, but I found out there was like 12 different jingles recorded, so I was like, oh, I can play a different one each time and still like it'd be a new thing. And also,
And
there was one day that I just played the whole Devin Hansen soundtrack.
oh,
So, because I could,
lovely.
they put it on system for me, so I was like, well, I'm doing this now today. Let's listen to it.
I'm doing this now. I'd do the same, which is why I don't have a radio show either. So
Maybe we can found our own radio station, just play Devin Hansen all day.
I don't think anyone would listen to it, really.
We'll find out how many views this has got.
Yeah, we need to find our demographic here.
Maybe I'll figure out how to put like a poll in the corner of the things people can vote whether they think we should have a radio show.
Oh my God.
I'll figure out if I can do that. Probably not, because I'm not very tech savvy when it comes to YouTube.
You're more tech savvy than me with my one finger typing like an old woman.
That's 2 fingers.
Ooh, all right, sassy pants. Princess Sassy Pants.
That's the Disney princess I would be.
Princess Sassy Pants.
Yes,
Nice.
definitely.
That is a corner of the market that needs filling, for sure.
That'd be a great Disney princess. Anyways, we're getting to the end of the interview, and it's sad because this has been amazing. It's been so much fun chatting to you.
Thanks.
And the last sort of 3 things I need to say that are quite quick. They're not surprise questions, don't worry.
Oh, thank God.
Is, people want to follow you on social media. How do they do that?
I'm only on Twitter and Instagram because I am old. And on Twitter, it's Jennifer_Cald, C-A-L-D. And helpfully on Instagram, it's different. It's at jcaldwell6889.
Okay, cool.
Hit me up.
Amazing few things I've got to say are, this video is for Acting for Others. Do you want to talk about Acting for Others? Do you know much about it?
I wish I knew more about it, if I'm honest, but I know that it is a wonderfully helpful charity that at the minute is, I mean, it's probably under a lot of pressure, I can imagine, because obviously we are all currently out of work. So there's, you know, we as a community need a lot of assistance. But you tell me about it, because I need to know more, apparently.
So Acting for Others is a charity that helps people that are out of work, especially at the moment. I don't know if that, the thing is, it's to help people that have fallen upon hard times through no fault of their own. And it helps, I think it just don't know what I'm saying now, it doesn't just help actors, it helps stagehands and
oh my God, of course,
ushers and everyone that's important to the industry. And it's especially important now because we're all stuck at home watching The Politician, The Good Place, but we wouldn't have that without actors.
Correct.
So if we don't help them now, they're going to be like, yeah, we're going to act for no one.
This is the thing. I mean, there are people that, you know, that do say, you know, well, the entertainment industry isn't important. The entertainment industry is superfluous. It's, you know, it's a frivolous industry. But what are you watching every night on the TV? Actors. What are you watching when you're excited about your favorite series on Netflix? Actors. Like, there's a lot that actors and the entertainment industry and everyone who is employed within the entertainment industry, there is a lot that we do to keep people happy and sane. Even if we are neither happy nor sane ourselves, you know?
That's amazing. So yeah, donate as much as you can. It's so important. There's a link in the description. I always get to do this. It's so fun. Do you want to do it as well? So link in the description and point down.
Preferably as much as you can. Give it all the monies that you have. Thank
and
you.
Then and it'll go straight to the charity. So that's good because it says charity hustle as well. So you donate through just giving and they'll give it straight to the charity. But I guess there's one more question for you, which is, what's your advice for people now?
What is my advice for people now, living in these uncertain times?
Yeah.
My advice is to try and find joy. Even if just once a day, try and find something that brings you joy, and do something that brings you joy. So what I'm doing is I'm exercising every day, and that boosts my endorphins and it brings me joy. You know, if it might be reading a lovely book, it might be just sending a text to a friend, but sometimes it helps to find joy in little things and try to see this period of time as just a manageable chunk of time that will move on. And whilst we're in it, try and find happiness wherever you can.
You guys heard it from the superstar. Find
Stop
happiness.
it.
If it makes you feel any better, I do say that about everyone. So
Yeah, that doesn't make me feel better, actually. That makes me feel worse.
well, no one has to know that I said this. You're the best superstar.
Shit, I don't believe you. That's fine. That's
Yeah,
fine.
have to believe me. It's
Everyone's lovely.
I've already
But
got the interview. No.
this is the thing. You haven't seen Six, you see, and the whole ethos is to not compare. So everybody is wonderful and magical in their own unique, special way.
Yes, they are.
Yes, they are.
Thank you for letting me interview you. It's been amazing.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I'll just say one more thing to people at home. If you came here for my advice, you've come to the wrong place.